All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Sideline Report. Marvin Jackson here, Donna Hopkins, and we are joined by Barry Barnes. And Barry, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
What we're going to talk about now is, first, why did it go so bad for the Redskins and so good for the Eagles? What you guys have anything to talk about?
Offensively or defensively?
Well, I mean, the Redskins were just bad, period, to me.
They were.
And the Eagles were just plain old good. I mean, of course, they have Michael Vick, who's playing his best football ever.
Right. I would say football is all about momentum. And as soon as Philadelphia came out and they went through that strike, to your Deshaun Jackson, that took everything away from them. And you can see clearly that Kyle Shanahan on the sideline, he didn't even know what to call. He didn't even know what to do. So they come out running, trying to get first down, because the Redskins is not the type of team that have big plays, that they can go deep to answer that. So they have to counter with first down here, first down there, and take a shot and get a chance. And unfortunately, they went 3 and out three straight times, and they just could not get back into it. So that's the issue starting off with the offense.
Yeah, Marvin, and the thing about it, too, is when you get behind in a game like that, and the Redskins are not a team that have proven that they can come from back from a lead like that. But when you look at the Redskins over the first half of the season, they've always had problems on third down. I think they were 0 for 6 at one point on the third down conversions in that Philly game. But what happened is they get in long situations on third down, and they press. But then when you look at on offense also, the offensive line has not played well. And the thing about it is everybody's looking at McNabb to say, okay, he's struggling as a quarterback. No, he hasn't played like everybody probably expected him at this point. But I don't think that you look at the way he has played as much as you look at the offensive line that has not been able to protect him. And then they were struggling on offense where they haven't gotten that offensive unit clicking yet.
Right.
Totally.
And then at the beginning of the season, they start off as a team on the defense that couldn't catch. Now all of a sudden they're a team that can't tackle. You have D'Angelo Hall throwing arms out trying to tackle, players when they run down the field. And that is totally unacceptable for a defense, like this. Hamslet, he's coming in with his 3-4. It takes, these guys a while. First of all, the Redskins is not an athletic defensive team. They can't produce that type of defense just yet, especially in their first year. Pretty much all the key players are old. London Fletcher, he's limited to what he has to do because he's older now, so he can't, really keep up as much. And everybody knows that the story out with LeVon Landry, he really can't cover deep. And then at the same time, with they can't get no pressure off sending 3 men, on an attack, to try to put pressure on Michael Vick, which you can't put pressure on because a quarterback that always scramble and move around, you can't just go at him and attack. Brian Rappo, he had to play containment for most of the game because he just can't attack Vick. Everybody want to jump on Albert Hainsworth because he fell out on the play, but, get a guy a break. No one's going to always be.
He fell out on the play.
Yeah, he was double teamed. He was trying to get through. Michael Vick running around.
That was one play we saw.
Right. Yeah. That's one that we saw, but it was such a big thing because it was just those 3 that he had to go up against to try to get to Michael Vick. And he just came out and just told the truth and said, look, he was just tired. He just couldn't get to him instead of what he said on Wednesday.
Let's talk about this team's morale. A lot of people are saying maybe, the past problems that the Redskins had a couple weeks ago before this game. Right. And then they go into a bye week.
But the benching.
The benching of McNabb. Let's talk about that.
Right.
Let's talk about that benching, the B word, huh? I mean, it's
for 2 minutes.
That was a big deal because a lot of the players didn't like it.
Right.
And I had several people who told me, watch the way the Redskins come out in the Philadelphia game.
Right.
They're not going to be up for this game because of all the distractions and the benching and all that. And there's more going on probably between McNabb and Kyle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would say that word had came out that prior to the Lions game that they was at the table trying to come up with an extension for McNabb. So he wanted to make sure he didn't do anything to mess anything up as far as with him being bent. So he kept it cool like he always has done, with the situation with Rush Limbaugh and also the same situation with T.O. So he kept it cool. Now, this past week, he signed an extension. It wasn't as much as everybody think it is, but with him being committed, quote unquote, for to see how long this is going to last, it tells Kyle Shanahan that, look, you're going to have to do what you have have to do to accommodate this man. Kyle Shanahan, he had worked with Matt Schaub, the guy that was trying to make a name for himself in the NFL. Same thing with Rex Grossman, someone that's been in the system, someone that's not going to really bump heads with him. Now you have a quarterback that's a veteran. That's nothing you really can teach him. He's seen all kinds of defenses. He worked with all kinds of offenses. So there's nothing that he can actually show McNabb. So his pride is on the line right now. So when you look at these guys on the sideline and then at the same time at practice and everything, these guys are not going to be on the same page.
Really do.
So this is something that Kyle will have to deal with. That's, putting the emotions aside, put his pride aside, and just give McNabb the game plan that he needs, because you don't necessarily have to understand the entire playbook. You look at Brett Favre. He went in a situation with Minnesota where he already knew the system, so that's why he was able to flow into that. If you don't know the whole playbook, come up with a game plan. A game plan is much easier to be ready to prepare for on Sunday than holding the game book and learn the playbook. Just set your pride aside. Let this man go out there and do what he do best.
Can the Redskins get back up? We know Hainsworth can't get back up when he falls, but can the Redskins get back up after this loss?
It's a short week. You look at the Redskins coming off the Monday night game. It's a short week to prepare for a Tennessee game. A Tennessee team, and like you said, you got Hainsworth going back to Tennessee. Right. But then again, you've got, like you said, Calvin Johnson. They've got some good receivers. Randy Moss is in his second game. He only had one catch in that first game that he played. But like Barry said, that you've got a ailing quarterback, and even Kerry Collins, when he played the week before, he struggled, and he has a knee injury. So you look at the Redskins, if they're going to do anything, they need to attack on defense. They need to be the ones, because I think when you look at the offensive side of the ball, Tennessee has a good defense. And I think that the Redskins can win this. Like Barry said, it may be hard for them to win this. They may not. But I think that being beat down like they did in Philly, they've got a lot to prove to themselves to want to come back and bounce back with a win. So it's going to be interesting, and hopefully they'll be more ready to play with Tennessee than they were against the Eagles.
All right. Well, who's the best team in the NFC East?
Well, if we go by Raheem Morris, it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, and you know what? You got this great game this week between the Eagles and the Giants.
Right.
And they're both in first place in the division. And when you look at the Giants, who struggle against Dallas, and Dallas just walked over them pretty much, but they fought back. And Eli Manning had an awful game. The Giants' defense was terrible. Right. And you don't look for them to have that same type of game. So it's going to be tough up in Philly where they've got to play. And Vic, them coming off a game like they did, it's going to be a battle up there. It's going to be a good game. And I personally hope that Philly beats the Giants.
Yeah. It definitely will be decided with that game on Sunday, because they're the class of this division. Dallas Cowboys finally got their win last week, thank goodness.
Two.
That's two now?
And I hope people don't think that the Cowboys are all of a sudden back. Since Jason Garrett is the coach and Wade Phillips is out, and Dallas won that game against the Giants, everybody thinking, oh, Dallas is going to run and be at the top. No, Dallas has problems still.
Change,
right.
Yeah, the first.
The team is up. And the Giants were probably down a little bit. They probably weren't thinking that the Cowboys were going to come out like that.
Yeah, so you don't think the Cowboys are going to just run off some?
Not against Detroit. Look, they probably think that they're going up to Detroit. I mean, they're going to play Detroit this week, and they think that that's probably a walk in the park, that they're going to automatically just beat Detroit. Detroit has lost close games, and they're a better team than people think.
Right.
So I hope Dallas just don't think that that's a W for them right off. So don't be surprised if Detroit doesn't win that game.
Right.
Yeah. So they'll be back to being the Cowgirls again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Because Detroit, they're one of those teams, when you're a young team, you're playing at home, that's your comfort zone. And last week with the Buffalo Bills, came down to a last play when they could have went, and stole the game against Buffalo. So this team is very confident when they play in Ford Field. So this game definitely not going to be easy for the Cowboys. So I would say all four of the teams are going to have a tough matchup this weekend. But as far as the best in that division, it's going to come down to the Eagles and Giants. But right now, I have to put my money on, based on what we saw on Monday night, 2 weeks in a row since Michael Vick's been back. The Eagles going to be the one.
Eagles, I told you the Eagles.
Yeah.
All right.
Who you got?
Redskins.
Okay.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm going to go with the Eagles, too. I just think that they're really playing well. And with Michael Vick back, I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's going to make a run for MVP,
Right.
Player of the Year.
Right.
I mean, this guy's playing very good football,
and
he's got the weapons.
Right, and that's the key part because when Andy Reid put that team together, he put speed guys around to work with Kevin Cobb because coming this season, he was going to be the starting quarterback. Now you see how things didn't work out with Kevin. Michael Vick is in there, so Michael Vick is going to enhance everyone else around him because of how well he is of a player, because he can make plays with his legs to extend plays, to allow the receivers to be able to get open, to make plays. So when you already have talented players around them, they're only going to be more talented than what they already been. And plus, with the offensive line, they moving left to right. They more athletic than anything. They having a rise of confidence, knowing that the person we're protecting is going to lead them to wherever they can go. So the Eagles, they definitely is a team to watch out for in the next coming weeks.
All right, thanks, guys.